could the same girl in this music video still be somewhere inside the Candace we are seeing revealed today? Don't get me wrong. There's nothing inherently evil or wrong with being in a music video. And this is not an exposé. Some of you may not know this, but it's already known information. She's even spoken about it herself. What matters here is that we understand the personality traits often shared by someone who wants to be in a music video, someone who wants to be, in that world. Those traits commonly include being attention seeking, wanting proximity to power or celebrity, wanting, status, wanting to be seen, wanting to be the center of attention, and wanting to feel important or even famous. Are we seeing some of the same traits in Candace that we might have seen back in the day, statistically speaking, in people who aspire to be in these positions? Personally, I'm glad she got out of that and didn't go down a path where she stayed in that world. My point here is that what we've been seeing lately going on with Candace shows I'm not so sure what she really wants. Does she really want truth? I think she just wants to keep the Charlie Kirk series going on, and her latest post shows that she wants to keep being the center of attention. Shows that she wants to keep this going on, even if so far it has turned out to be utterly fruitless. She even is the cause of money being taken away from faithful followers that hang onto her every word. Lies of a false witness, which Mitch Snow, with the help of Candace, raised $145,000 for someone who clearly does not deserve it. It seems she cannot find it in herself to apologize. She just can't do it. She cannot find it in herself to look for real facts. To many of us, it seems like she's going hard for theories that lead us to nowhere instead of focusing on some real facts. For example, Patel and Tulsi Gabbard, and why Patel stopped her from investigating. Aren't two heads better than one? Why block Gabbard? And also looking into what groups already knew they wanted Charlie harmed and talked about it before he even arrived on campus. There are so many concrete things that Candace, with her authority and her voice and all the attention and fame that she has right now, could be focusing on and really get some answers. But she chooses to stick to a baseless secret meeting told by a habitual liar and a con artist who has scammed his way through women's lives, taking their money and using them to his delight. So every post of hers that I read, I used to read her post and just blindly be like, yeah, go Candace, thinking that she's brave and she's right about everything because of her past work. Hey, if you're still watching, do me a favor, like and subscribe. Like if you're enjoying this and you're still here, just do it. Like, why not? Thanks. But now, because I recently turned away from her, I think many of us can see clearly now what I'm seeing is my discernment giving me red alert when it comes to her. I now have to slowly read exactly what she's saying. For some reason, I still have a sliver of hope that I would connect with something she's saying, but now I'm seeing a person that is lost, money-driven, attention-driven, fame-driven, because this post does nothing but give her a new way to continue her Charlie Kirk series. So she says first, look, I have no idea who it is over at the CIA that is responsible for psychological operations, but this Charlie Kirk one has failed miserably. Please just end it. This is just more of the same. She said something similar to this before when people first started really getting on her and talking against her theories that she just carelessly just throws out there in the open, knowing that her crazed followers will react and go attack people off of just her thoughts and what comes out of her mouth.
It's so obvious when it just looks like talking points. Like a million people were suddenly wanting to say the same thing. She's sold out. Her energy is off. And then when you see like Tim Pool and Nick Fuentes, Candace is over. She's over. It's finished. It just makes it very obvious to the public. Like you could be more sophisticated at these operations. Whoever's running them probably just needs to be replaced. Bring me in. I'll tell you. I'll be like, oh, a little too much. You got to crank it down a tiny bit before people start to trip in and recognize that these are military bots.
So you see, it's more of the same way of speaking. More of her ridiculing people and organizations and behaving like her opinions and feelings are intellectually superior to everyone else's. I feel this is deeper than her just wanting money, fame, and attention. So many people have called her intelligent. I fear her head is swelled a few sizes too large, and now she thinks she's Megamind or something. So she goes on to say, there is no amount of our tax dollars that you can spend that can convince us that Charlie was assassinated by a furry trans named Tyler Robinson who was acting alone. Okay. So we have a little dehumanization by calling him a furry trans, obviously in a very negative way. But in actuality, this is a young man who is confused about his identity. And you know that these types of people can sometimes be more susceptible of being radicalized because, in my opinion, this is my opinion, they are already dealing with a lot. They are troubled spiritually and physically. They don't even feel like their real gender. And in this furry boy's case, he doesn't even feel like the right species. It's not hard for me to see how a person already troubled with these things could commit a murder like Charlie Kirk's. And we are all on the right so tired of repeating the fact that there were plenty of students and people talking about, what they wanted to happen to Charlie, how they wanted him gone prior to Charlie even arriving. No one is saying that the boy acted alone. No one thinks that. But anybody in their right mind wouldn't just totally disqualify Tyler from being involved at all, such as Candace is doing. So we have to ask, what is her motive here? Because she seems to be moving us further and further away from Tyler, and who could have corroborated or partnered up with him to assassinate Charlie. If you ask me, every one of those evil kids, young adults, or even teachers, whoever on that campus who was cheering and taking pleasure in Charlie Kirk's death should be arrested. They were all in agreement and acted in a way which could be considered planning his elimination, which to me is almost like killing him. Candace seems like she's helping these killers at heart by moving us closer to fantasies of Egyptian planes that weren't even where she said they were. They were debunked plenty of times. Where is the interactive plane simulation that she said she was going to do and put up on her website? Where is it? This to me feels like music video girl. You want attention, you want to be relevant, you want to be friends with Kanye so bad. She mentions their friendship every chance she has. I'm pretty sure she wishes she had more celebrity friends from the looks of it. We're all trying to get to the truth here. And when people say this could mess up the investigation, I'm afraid that it actually can. The jury pool could be compromised. All of the information that Candace has put out there is not going to make it easy to find an untainted jury, truthfully. So let's move on. She goes on to say, do we really need to carry this nonsense into 2026? My first thought was like, well, you keep doing what you're doing all the way into 2026? And I already know the answer to that. And this is not the only post where I'm seeing her subtly promote her YouTube business. And I'm not saying you're supposed to die and go broke because one of your friends passed away, a friend who Candace says was her best friend, though many believe the relationship was deteriorating before he died. I'm not saying she should go broke. I'm saying that for you to go this hard and make an entire series, one that includes having your followers build hatred toward Charlie's wife, which to me essentially feels like accusing his own children of being involved. That's how deep it is for me. Along with accusing people he's worked with at his organization, it just doesn't make any sense. It suggests either a deep hatred toward his wife and the organization, or that Candace may be going through something we don't know about, and this is all misdirected hate. She's continuing to act like she's the only one who cared about Charlie, not the woman who he loved, lived with, and laid with. I don't know what she has against Erica Kirk. I don't know what the woman did to her. I have no idea, but this is the strangest thing I've ever seen. It almost feels demonic to me. If I were Candace, I would not mess with a praying woman. I don't know that woman's life personally. We only see what we can see on media, but what I do know is that you do not mess with a praying person. She's seemingly a real prayer warrior, and I think Candace needs to watch out. So this post here is not the only post she's getting people revved up for more of the same dead-end theories. There's no proof she has revealed thus far. She hasn't uncovered anything. The whole Charlie Kirk series has been fruitless when it comes to evidence or bringing us closer to anything. Only thing this has produced is generating money for her and her family and has caused great tension on the right. I don't even know what the left is doing right now, probably prepping one of their own for an easy, victorious path back into the presidential seat where they will have control again and jack up the country again. Anyway, so here I can show you her current pinned post she has on X, which clearly proves my observations, I think at least. It says 2025 was one hell of a year. Beyond grateful to all of who turned into the podcast and took us to #1 globally. Can't wait to get back on air in 2026 as I plan to break another explosive story because I'm always one step ahead of my haters, and I am grateful to them as well. So we have another explosive story from Candace. What we don't know is, does it have something to do with Charlie, or is it just planning to move to another conspiracy theory to keep the spotlight on her, to keep the millions rolling in? And I guess she's grateful to her haters because they're adding to her ad revenue by them watching as well. It's so funny. She can't even take criticism. You say people are bots if they disagree with you. You say a psychological operation or misinformation campaign is being targeted against you when someone simply shows you proof that you're wrong. This type of mindset is delusional for anybody, not just Candace. I'm not putting her down, but the mindset is delusional. I have to call a spade a spade. And it looks to me like she's fighting just to keep herself relevant. Music video girl mentality. She's doing so much damage control right now that I don't even see how her followers cannot see it. The meeting she had on X on the 29th of this month, December, straight damage control. She could barely keep her composure when Harrison or any other disagreeing voice spoke any sense. So continuing the original post we were covering, she says, frankly, the entire operation was sloppy and the subsequent, you all have to pretend things make sense because people are grieving, has lost its touch. This is a real issue for me, and this is why people have been calling her a demon. Alex Jones, you're wrong for that. People cannot be demons. They can have demons in them or around them, but they cannot be demons. We're going to have to, stop going too far with the name calling. So it is demonic to be so against empathy right off the jump. She didn't even give people time to settle down. She immediately went on the attack with her Charlie Kirk series. First off, empathy is a deeply positive trait. It reflects God's nature. Scripture commands us to love our neighbors, to care about how other people feel. She gave people zero time because of the agenda she wanted to just commence. This is how it looks to many. With Candace, empathy is framed as evil because supposedly the FBI or some organization is doing a psyop on the people of America, and it's possible this is why she began her attacks on Erica Kirk shortly after Charlie's death, because Erica represents the emotional center of this loss. Erica is the heart of Charlie still on Earth, and I believe Erica gave him her heart. She was given his. If people were to initially turn toward Erica and be on her side from the very beginning, then what Candace has been doing would be seen even more clearly as disgusting. And her Charlie Kirk series would not have seen the light of day. It's evil genius, actually, to turn people against Erica right off the jump to do this show. And another thing, nobody cares that TPUSA made money after he died. We all expect organizations and companies to keep making money. The demand was there and people loved Charlie. Whether Charlie is alive or dead, the organization has to move forward. Erica is CEO. CEOs make money. Is she supposed to be broken and destitute? So Candace wants people to believe raising money is somehow the same as making an entire series accusing TPUSA, Charlie's wife, and others of having something to do with Charlie's death with zero evidence. I believe Candace only brings up the money to try and lessen the fact that she is making disgusting amounts of money by making up theories about how Charlie Kirk died and implicating people based off of feelings, when in reality, we already probably have in custody one of the guys involved. But that's too simple for Candace. Her show would not exist if she accepted this reality. No more money for her if that was so. So she goes on to say on the post, I don't know who sat back at this office and was like, all we need is Tim Pool to scream, Ben Shapiro to stomp his feet, and a lot of pyrotechnics. But that employee needs to be fired. Pyrotechnics. Pyrotechnics. The hate for his wife is demonic, man. It's demonic. It's demonic. That's all I have to say about it. Who here thinks that this is the Holy Spirit leading Candace? Not me. Not me. In a summary of all this, she's trying to keep doors open to continue what seems to be a hustle, using Charlie Kirk's murder to keep making money. Nobody who is truly your friend would do any of this. People need to understand that many have been fooled into thinking she really cares. If she wanted to get to the bottom of this, she would focus on Tulsi Gabbard and Patel. She would focus on the group that wanted Charlie dead before he arrived on campus. She has help from fellow conservatives that she refuses. She has help from people on the right that she does not respond to. But now the truth is all out. We see her out here acting like a grifter, and it has to be called out. We have to call out evil. And also to point about her mentioning Tim Pool. One thing I do agree with Tim Pool on is when I saw the clip of him talking about that Candace was not afraid for her life. When the guy across from him said he visited it and they saw no one but one bald fat guy or something like that. And it was weird that they were at her house. Well, not really. They probably were just trying to find some proof, just like Candace would. But it was a clue many ignored because it's Tim Pool. And a lot of people, I don't think people like him for some reason, but people looked over that clue. And it is possible she might have been crying wolf. I mean, there are just too many signs pointing to a hustler, to someone who still has a little bit of that inside of her wanting attention. If you're on the fence, if you're still standing with Candace like she's some evangelist like Charlie was, doing God's work, please consider this when you're reading her posts and looking at her uploads, that she's making a show, an entertaining show. She's supporting her family. She's doing whatever she can to keep it going. Just read everything carefully that she says. Ask yourself, why is she speaking like this? Why is she so dismissive? Why does she act like she's the only one that can be right? She supports many good moral positions, and I believe that's genuine about her. I just hope she's not only keeping up appearances so she doesn't lose the right-wing audience that she's, acquired. This is definitely cult-like behavior. Oh, and as for the end of her post, which I almost didn't read, all I have to say to that is, no, Candace, I wish you would end this, because it's really stupid and it's making the country a little more stupider every time, she brings out another theory that leads us further from the truth. This could have been something good for the country if handled differently, maybe by another person. This could have been a productive, open investigation with clear boundaries explained to the audience so we won't create ignorant radicals. But she never tells her audience to stop attacking people. She never stops them. And that tells you where her heart is. We have to stay aware. We have to stay alert, and we have to pray for discernment. So that's all I got. If you enjoyed this breakdown, please like and subscribe. And Happy New Year, and until next time.